Hey guys, just want to share some facts and statistics with you guys about not really psychedelics, but I guess MDMA, which is sort of considered psychedelic, sort of not considered psychedelic, depending on who you are. But it's an effective tool for, I guess, dropping barriers that we've built up around ourselves, protectionary measures to allow us ourselves to get emotional or to show emotion or to tap into, I guess, areas that have been protected by walls based on traumas. And I'm reading this book here called Stealing Fire, which is an amazing book, and it's interesting because it's taken me so long to read it. I wish I read it years ago, and I think it has to do with the person who recommended to me first, which was John Abele, who was the founder of Boston Scientific. I ended up meeting him while working at the Cambridge Center in Toronto, and he told me about it. It piqued my interest. I ended up buying it, sat on my shelf for a few years, and then just kept coming up. And it talks a lot about flow hacking and psychedelics and just getting that edge. So how the tagline here is how Silicon Valley, the Navy SEALs, and maverick scientists are revolutionizing the way we live and work. Anywho, I found it interesting, this one statistic here, which David Nutt, who was a scientist, I think a researcher in the UK government or English government, was supposed to create, statistics around harms of drugs, and in the documentary Psyched Out, I referenced one of his studies that show the harms on both the person and the people around them. And when it comes to ecstasy, which is MDMA in a pill form, which is used in nightclubs around the same time that it was also being used underground for therapy in the US, which MAPS founder Rick Doblin was researching and challenging when they in an emergency move tried to make it illegal. But he found that he had some people come across his desk who had suffered head injuries that were basically not using drugs but having all the symptoms of a drug addict, where they're irritable, anxious, depressed, impulsive, all these things. And he found that it was very common that 1 in every 350 horseback riding occasions there was an adverse effect. And then he compared that to the data he had on MDMA, which was every 60 million tablets of MDMA, there was 10,000 adverse events, and it had a lot to do with people probably not using it properly, probably in a nightclub setting, not having access to adequate hydration, which is probably the main reason. But that's 1 for every 6,000 pills popped versus 1 in every 350. And basically that hit the headlines like crazy, and it just went to show that the judge or the secretary general or whatever they call themselves wouldn't allow the comparison in court, because they just said one is illegal, one is not illegal, you can't compare the two. And his argument was he was trying to just compare the harms to the average person. So it's a real disconnect in perspective from the government's perspective versus statistical perspective, which was what he was hired to do. And he ended up coming up with another outrageous, I guess, in the eyes of the government headline, which the headline was "Government Minister Claims Alcohol More Dangerous Than LSD," which what he found from his study was basically figuring out that those who used LSD, there's a lot less damage to them as a personal versus and also the people around them versus people who use alcohol. And as you know, alcohol causes so many deaths related to car accidents, people getting angry, fighting, violence, all kinds of stuff. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys just to add some perspective to this whole debate around psychedelics and MDMA for psychotherapy, and also other psychedelics for therapeutic use. What do you guys think? Leave a comment below. If you like these videos, please like, share, and subscribe. I'd love to hear from you guys. Peace.